Hey, it's 6 o'clock Monday. That means it's time for Press Box Live, and we are brought to you each and every Monday and Wednesday night when we do our Zooms by C3 American Exteriors. We have no guests tonight. It's just going to be me and Ross Grimsley, and
All
that's the way
right.
we like it every once in a while because then we can talk baseball. But Ross, let me pay the bills, and then we'll jump in and
Got it.
discuss these pennant races and some positives and negatives of the Orioles 40 and 89 campaign to date. Pressbox Live is brought to you by C3 American Exteriors. Go to their website at c3america.com to check out how you can get a brand new roof for just the cost of your insurance deductible. And I know I'm beating the same drum each and every Monday and Wednesday night, but Ross knows it and I know it. As homeowners, there's nothing more expensive than repairing or replacing your roof. And I always say there's three things if you're dealing with a roofing company. You got to like the people, you got to trust the people, and you got to feel secure with those people. And that's exactly what you'll be able to do with C3 American Exteriors. All right. Uh, Ross Grimsley,
Yes,
let's
sir.
discuss. And I apologize, the phone rang immediately as soon as we hit the airwaves.
You're an
Uh,
important guy.
I'm a very important guy. Tell me what strikes you about the American League East right now. We'll start out in the East, go to the
Yeah.
Central, go West, and then we'll do it with the National League.
Yeah. Well, Tampa Bay, obviously, well, they're the favorites to, win the World Series. But the Yankees are coming up a little bit. Boston's right there. They're 8 games back. The Yankees are 6. Uh, I I just don't see anybody taking over Tampa Bay. They just have a way of winning. They come up with a big hit. They get the big, the good pitch game when they need it. So I just don't see anybody catching Tampa Bay at this time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Tampa has a 6 game lead over the Yankees. We all know, though, the Yankees have come out of nowhere to scoot past the Boston Red Sox. They've got a 2 game lead over the Red Sox. Do you think by the end of September, Tampa will have the Yankees will have gotten closer to New York? Let me say it again, that New York will have gotten closer to Tampa, or do you think there's a better chance of Boston scooting past the Yankees again?
Boston is Yankees have been on a hot streak. I think they've lost the last 2 games in a row, but they had what they win 10 in a
They
row,
won
12 in a
about
row.
20. They won about
Yeah,
28-8 or something
yeah,
like
they
that.
were on fire. And the thing that for me in the playoffs with them, which I think they're going to go to the playoffs, are Tampa Bay. But the Yankees, after Garrett Cole, the starting pitching, you just don't know. And the bullpen really hasn't been, as tremendous. Chapman hadn't been as strong as in the past. He's outstanding. You stop Stanton and Judge, they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
And they got on a tear. So if they cool, if they continue to hit, it's hard to tell. I don't think they're going to catch Tampa Bay, but they
They've got
continue.
that. They've got that package now. What they call it. They have a nickname for it. What is it when like the jumbo offense in football? They say that when they play Stanton, Judge, and Gallo in the outfield,
Yeah.
Rizzo at first, and Luke Voigt. He said we call it our heavy package.
Right, right. Well,
I mean
I
that
didn't
is
even think
some
about I didn't even think about Rizzo. That's another a big thing, and yeah, they got the possibility to score some runs. I just don't think overall the pitching is going to hold up for them. And as we go through this, I think the team with the best starting pitching has a chance to win the World Series because it's happened so often over the last 10 years. You get 3 quality starters, and that's going to be tough to beat. And the Dodgers have done that, and a few other teams also.
Well, sticking there, Toronto is fourth, but they faded at a key moment about 10 days ago.
Yeah,
Their offense like shut down. I
right,
can tell you firsthand that the pitcher pitching tonight, Robbie Ray,
right.
one thing will happen tonight that I can almost guarantee you is Toronto will not give him a lot of offensive support. He's having a Cy Young Award type season, except he's 9-5 because
Yeah.
every game they don't score more than 1 or 2 runs for him.
And it's amazing because a lot of teams have a guy like that. I know in Montreal, Steve Rogers was that guy. He was a 500 pitcher, but he was one of the best 500 pitchers you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Because after a while, then the team realizes they don't get you any runs, and they don't get you any runs. It's just something that happens. Some guys are prone to that. And that
Does it have anything to do with the guys don't like them? It doesn't.
I don't think that's
just a coincidence.
It just really. I mean, you can say, well, they faced the better starting pitchers of the other team, or what. It doesn't matter who pitches for the other team. It's just one of those things that happens. It's crazy.
All right, let's move to the. So you like Tampa, obviously, to win the division, and you think they'll go pretty far in the American League play.
With the way they're playing, I really do. The White Sox, I mean, they do a lot of things.
That's where
they do a lot of things. I mean, they are pitching wise. I think they're 9th in baseball in pitching. They don't hit a lot of home runs, but I think batting wise, I think they are 4th or 5th batting average. So they do a lot of things. They play, and then they got La Russa, who he's found a way to do some things with this team, and obviously they're playing for him, so that says something. But it's a team you just don't know what they're going to do once playoff time comes. That's a little leery of that. And
it's ironic, isn't it? Because that's why they fired Rich Renteria, because they were bummed out that he somehow didn't beat Oakland last year.
Right.
And now they're going into the playoffs, and while they're a good team, they don't quite look to be on par with Houston, or the Tampa, or even the Yankees right now.
Well, Oakland is 4-9 against Houston. So, and Houston just does. They got the three pitch Greinke,
Luis Garcia, and McCullers.
Yeah, they got 3 guys. Again, there's 3 starting pitchers. It's going to be tough, and they hit. They got all the guys, from the last few years. They know how to win. They don't get the being in the playoffs. World Series not going to affect them one bit. So I really like Houston. And again, it's Houston at Tampa Bay for me, and just the way Tampa plays, they just find a way to win, and it'll be one of those teams, I really think.
Okay, so when you talk about their starting pitching, I mean, when you talk about Houston, you got Greinke, Garcia, McCullers. That's 3 names. Who's the 3 for Tampa Bay? Is it Waka?
Got to be him, yeah. But
right. Is Yarborough? Is Yarborough?
He's another one, yeah. And I think
Chris Archer now.
Archer's one of them. I just don't, but they don't do the starting.
No, they don't.
No, they rely on, which is crazy because they have the what do they call it, the
opener.
The opener. They got the opener. Yeah. And what's crazy? More runs have been scored in the first inning this year in baseball. They have more runs scored in the first inning than any other inning. So that just kind of blows that out of the way.
They've developed. It's interesting. I'm patting myself on the back. I don't get that chance too often. The guy I wanted the Orioles to go out and spend a few bucks on, and it was going to be a few, was Colin McHugh. He had pitched for the Astros, had a good 3.5-year run with the Astros. He's developed. Now he got $1.8 million. Matt Harvey got $1 million. So he wasn't in the Orioles, affordability
budget
this year. But he has developed into an amazing weapon for Kevin Cash. He can open a game, he can close a game, and he can come in those 6th, 7th inning and shut somebody down.
He can do it all, and that's kind of what Tampa Bay does, And I mean, you can argue. I mean, and you do what happened last year with Snell, and what they do with their pitching. They've been developing pitching for a long time, and if they get somebody that is going to make a little bit of money, they can deep six him and get somebody else, just like they did with Snell. It's like the Dodgers. If I was a scouting director, I would tell my scouts to follow the Dodger scouts around.
Yeah.
Because they're going to find people. and they find some really good. And if they don't find them, they'll buy them.
Now we're going to talk about Snell when we get to the National League in a minute. So you're going to predict right now, basically, that Tampa will play Houston with maybe a shot for the White Sox because of their pitching.
Oh yeah, well, the White Sox, they're on a roll. They got a pretty good team, but I just, I think the other two clubs, Tampa Bay and Houston, experience. They've been there. They know what to do. They know how to do it. They're a pretty good all-around team, and not that the White Sox aren't. They just, they're starting to get their stuff together, and I think maybe that the future for them maybe the next couple of years. But they're right there, and
Ross,
anything can happen. Yeah,
you've been a major league pitcher for 14 years. You're pitching coach for 15, 16 years in the Giants organization. Tell me what you think has happened to Craig Kimbrell since he's come over. Is it as simple as he's got a closer's persona? He needs that adrenaline when the game is on the line, and they haven't used him in that role because they had Hendricks.
right.
And he's been like a sort of an unmitigated disaster so far.
Yeah, no, that's, your bullpen guys got a lot of ego, and a lot of guys do. But if you've been the man that gets the ball when the game's on the line, and you're not getting it anymore, that's kind of tough to, to swallow, to do that. I want the thing when, pass me the ball. I want to take the shot that can win the game, or throw me the ball. I want to make the catch in football for the touchdown. And that's just the way guys are. And I'm pretty sure.
Remember the look last year when Kevin Cash came out to take Blake Snell?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I saw that same look last week when Kimbrell, when they took him out with 2 out in the 8th inning to bring Hendricks into the game.
Right.
After he had retired a couple batters in a row, after he initially got in some trouble. And Kimbrell kind of looked at him and looked around when he was walking in. I think Tony really made a mistake there.
Well, what do you do when you go in to negotiate a contract?
Yeah.
Well,
he's got another year of $15 million, I think.
Sure. But when the games are playing, you don't even think who makes what. That doesn't even come into play. It's just, I've done this. I've been the guy you went to. And you know what? I'm glad you traded for me. But, I hope I get to a series. But it's not that way. Guys got, they've been bred to do a certain thing. And now all of a sudden, you don't get to do it.
Yeah.
When you've been, especially when you've been very successful, some people don't understand. I don't know why. The people that are running it, you go, okay, we're going to get a great guy. Well, we're not going to use him in the same role.
It turns that into a wild card.
Well, yeah. You can say what you want to them. This is what we want you to do. And I'll do it, because you're a professional and a competitor. Yeah, I'll do it. But you know what? It sounds like it's be easy to do, but it's just not. It's just that this is what in your mind you've been doing, and you had a way to prepare for that, and this is something new during the season. You got to do something else. It's kind of tough to do.
Again, I think it's almost like a high wire act, and there's an adrenaline that comes into it. When you come in the 8th inning, the same adrenaline isn't quite there.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Yeah. It takes a special guy, with Eckersley going from starting to relieving.
Yeah,
that was that's but he did it. He didn't do it in the middle of the season.
Well, look, I want to save our overall Oriole discussion, but when you get to the Oriole bullpen, and it seems to me, they say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again,
right?
And expecting a different result.
Yeah.
When Cole Sulser comes in the 7th inning and he's down 2 runs, he's a much better pitcher than when he comes in the 8th or the 9th inning with a 1-run lead. It seems like whenever they put him in to start an inning with a 1-run lead, the first guy walks. It's almost uncanny.
Well, you got a 2-run lead or 2 runs behind you, there's less pressure.
Less pressure.
And then you start trying to do, instead of just being able to go out and do it, and not even think of the score. Obviously you do, But and a lot of times the score dictates sometimes how you pitch to certain guys, or it should. But
Getting
yeah,
back
it's
to, go ahead, go ahead.
I say it changes. Guys are, I mean, they're different. Their mindset, and like we'll get the Oriole bullpen. I think Lopez. That's an interesting thing right there.
We'll get there in a few
We'll get to
minutes.
that. Yeah.
I guess you could say that unfortunately the biggest disappointment in the American League is probably the Minnesota Twins. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. They're in the bottom. They're what, 57, 73, 18 games back. You expected a lot out of them, but I mean, it's, crazy things happen.
Right. Okay. The one other team that's a disappointment, but they've got a better excuse than the Minnesota Twins, is the Angels, with the genius Joe Madden there. But in fairness to Joe, they're 64 and 67,
Right.
and they've played much of the season now. They've played a good 60 games without Mike Trout, and
Right.
they've probably played another 40 without the third baseman that they picked up from the Nationals.
Yeah.
What's it? I can't think of it.
Oh, I know. He's
That's
right
terrible.
there. I thought
That's
when
terrible.
they got Rondon, is that
Anthony Rendon.
yeah, I thought when he went over there with Trout and Ohtani, those were going to be something special, but they don't pitch.
Yeah.
They've never had a pitching. They've never been successful in developing pitchers, and it's really, you scratch your head, and that's one of the problems.
Well, I'll tell you one thing you scratch your head at is the Dylan Bundy trade. Looks like Mike Elias's finest moment, getting 4 pitchers for a guy, to me, who looks like he's auditioning to pitch as the #1 starter for a team in Korea next year.
Very possible.
All kidding aside, Dylan Bundy's an interesting case to me. And last year they get him, Joe Madden's first year as the pitching coach out there. And now I sometimes forget whether it was 19 or 20, but they had Mickey Callaway as his pitching coach.
Right. Yeah.
And whatever we think about Mickey Callaway and what he did off the field, aside from that, he clicked with Dylan Bundy, much the way Chris Holt has kind of clicked with Matt Harvey. And I think it was his sort of comfort blanket was having a pitching coach that really understood how to get the best out of him.
Sure.
And that pitching coach was dismissed.
Right.
And they ended up with a vastly different pitcher now than Dylan Bundy that when he went out there to LA.
Right. That happens. I mean, it's and the other thing is pitching in Camden Yards, and a lot of people don't understand this. It's not an easy place to pitch. I mean, the balls fly out of there. I mean, there's more home runs hit there than any park. Again, this year, I think Cincinnati is the next closest. But yeah, it's really tough, and you start picking, and then Bundy's got a sore shoulder, I think, right now. He's on the DL. But I wouldn't be surprised, and you see what happened to Gosman, what he did. Obviously, that's a bigger park. But next year might be, if he's healthy, next year could be different.
Well, somebody's going to get him inexpensively next year because he's looked absolutely awful.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I'm not trying to kid around about it.
Yeah.
The one thing that's apparent why he'd be a good fit in Oakland or San Francisco is the weather is much more temperate and less humid. I mean, this guy, I don't know what happens to him when he's in heat, but I've never seen a guy sweat like that.
Stan, that happens. I know I saw the Giants come into Washington several years ago.
Yeah.
And Bochy was the manager at the time. He come to Richmond because his son was there.
Right.
And Brett Bochy, who eventually pitched with the Giants, but he said the humidity was really bad. He says Lincecum, Kane, Bumgarner, none of them could handle the heat. And I'm going, I couldn't believe he said that.
Right.
I'm going, are you kidding me? But a lot of places, guys, have problems with it. And
let's scoot over to the National League. And I'll start with that word disappointing. I found that move last week by the San Diego Padres by their general manager and manager. And I'm guessing is Preller, the general manager,
Yeah.
said we got to do something, was a sign that they now know that the heat is on them. That management team, firing Larry Rothschild, considered to be, I mean, when you hire a guy that age, you know you're not getting the cutting edge guy.
Right, right.
What did they think firing him was going to accomplish? He didn't go out and sign Yu Darvish to, make the Yu
No.
Darvish trade, make the Zach, I just don't understand it.
Well, and the pitching was it was the 10th in all baseball. So it wasn't, a terrible pitching staff. And, and again, like you said, it's not it's not what they do now. It's not the guy. He wasn't probably that. So they're going to try, something else. But I mean,
the next guy clearly with the target on his back will be Jace Tingler after this year.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't see him.
Yeah.
I don't see him making it for year 3 over there.
Yeah. You look at San Diego, they don't hit a lot of home runs. They're not, I think they're hitting lower than the Orioles overall. I think they're hitting 241 as a team. Yeah. So, I mean,
the uncertainty with Tatis's shoulder now is really got to drive that team crazy. Since the All-Star game, the San Diego Padres, Ross, and this is now, let me just count, 3, 6, 7 weeks have taken place. They have finished over 500 1 week. The first week, All-Star break, when they came back, they went 2-1. They then went 3-3, 3-3. I take it back. They did finish 3-2 1 week. But the last 3 weeks, they are 5-13, and they are now out. They're barely clinging on to the wild card fight.
Right. And that's 69, 62. It might be one of these teams that that doesn't, for some reason, gel together. I mean, I've seen it a lot of times. You get a group of guys, and that's just like Oakland in the early 70s. Man for man, they were not better than the Reds, and they still won in the 72 series and went on to win, 2 other World Series. And man for man, they weren't as good as the other teams, but they knew how to play and knew what to do to win.
So let me ask you a question. That job becomes available October 8th. It's announced that Jace Tingler's not coming back. They got Wayne Kirby.
Yeah.
They got the infield instructor, Bobby Dickerson.
Right.
They got Machado.
Yeah.
What are the odds that Machado really pushes hard for Buck Showalter, and that they swallow and say, with all the baggage that Buck has, he still is a difference maker?
Well, there's probably a lot of egos out there. So, Buck comes in, he wants control of everything. My guess was, and I don't know if this guy is, I heard that he was interested in managing again, is Bruce Bochy.
Going back to San Diego.
Yeah, very possible.
That would be interesting. I know.
Now, I heard that a while back. And there's, I don't know, but that would be interesting right there. But I don't know if anybody wants to take a chance on Buck. First of all, what it would cost, because everybody's trying to save a nickel. I think
Buck is at the point. Buck knows the mathematics that there aren't many managers that get 5 and 6 chances. Yeah. I think his financial reward, at least for the year 1, I think he'd be willing to say, hey, give me $2.5 million for the first year and build in some incentives if I produce.
That would be great, and that's very possible. But Buck wants a little more control of stuff, and I just don't know if
I don't think he's going to get that. I think he knows that, and I think he knows I'm a good enough manager to win with this team.
Yeah.
Now, So anyway,
that's a thought. Interesting. Yeah.
All right. Now, out west there in the National League, San Francisco is up by 2.5 over the Dodgers. That's like a horse race now. Yeah. That they're nip and tuck, but the Giants aren't giving up anything right now. They are tough.
They are. I mean, it's amazing. They don't play. The Dodgers and the Giants don't play again. I think the last 3 games of the season they go head to head, I believe. So
they play this coming week.
Do they?
Yeah, this coming weekend they play. Wait a minute, because I know I do the MLB power rankings. San Francisco has a 4-game series at home against Milwaukee, and then the
Right.
Dodgers come in for 3 games.
Yeah.
And
The
then I
Giants
think
got
they
a tough
play.
schedule.
Yeah.
The Giants got a tougher schedule, I think, than the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers are one of the, odds wise, I mean, they're second behind Tampa Bay to go to the World Series. So, yeah, the Giants, I mean, you got Posey back from a knee problem, who's swinging the bat. He's hitting 312, got 16 home runs. Crawford and Belt. Yeah, 3 guys that were with the 10, 12, 14 World Series champions. So that
And
they're
now you
all
got
back.
Chris. Now you got Chris Bryant in the mix.
Brian, exactly. Then you got Yaz, who's hit 21 home runs. He's hitting 220, but he's
They
hitting
lead. That's amazing to me in that park that they lead all of baseball in home
all
runs.
of baseball. That's phenomenal. But and we had Shane Turner on there, the scout for the Giants, was telling us. I mean, they pitch, they hit, they field. They do all the things you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Plus, they're hitting home runs. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me in that park, and they lead all of baseball, which is phenomenal. But they're second in pitching. Gosman has been fantastic.
Yep.
They got Alex Wood, who's won 10 games. He's 10-4.
Johnny Cueto.
Cueto has come back. He's playing well. And the bullpen is doing, I mean, they got a guy with an earned run average over 3 out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
So they're doing everything right, hitting for power, pitching, fielding. The starters have been, and the bullpen's been fantastic. Again, I can't go against the Dodgers. They got horses there. They got
Well, they got the big horse in trade for Max Scherzer.
They got not Kerfield, Kershaw, the left-hander. He's on the DL
right
for a while, but then they got Wally Buehner, who's for me, I thought he was, when I first saw him, he's outstanding.
Yeah, Walker Buehler. Yeah,
Walker Buehler. Yeah. Him.
They got Urias.
They got the left-hander who was really came on and really you could see that last couple of years.
Urias. Yeah.
Him. Yeah. They got Price. They got I don't know what Bauer, whatever he's coming back or not. Who knows?
He won't be back this year.
I wouldn't think so. Yeah. But
I don't think he'll ever pitch in the major leagues again.
That's who knows.
But they're good. The Giants are, again, they're jockeying back in first and second. I mean, the Giants are staying in first, but they're right there on their tail. And with Max Scherzer, they're incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on this Milwaukee Brewers team.
No, I mean, hey, their bullpen is fantastic, and they swing. They do the little things they need to do, to win. Hitting wise, they got some guys that obviously hit for power, but they've been kind of a surprise. The pitching for them has really been interesting, and that's somebody that.
Well, I gave you the records of the 3 teams out west since the All-Star break. San Diego 16-22, LA 26-14, San Francisco 27-14, Atlanta 26-14, and right there at 26-13 is the Milwaukee Brewers.
Right. I mean, it's
you
a battle.
blanket over those 4 teams.
I know. It's again, and I lean on the Dodgers because of their starting pitching. And you know what? And not to take nothing away from the Giants. I mean, Gosman has been fantastic. But overall, I think overall starting pitching for the Dodgers is gonna really do something for them, I think.
Yeah. Do you expect Kershaw to be back this year in time for the
playoffs? He's on a 60-day DL. So what happened? What was his?
I don't
he had a back problem,
he had. I think it was a back issue.
Yeah. I mean, he's logged a lot of innings, a lot of big innings, and the crucial, playoffs, World Series. And that takes its toll. We saw what happened to Bumgarner, and he's just, he actually has been pitching much better of late since he was on the DL with a tired shoulder. But yeah, it takes its toll after a while.
All right. Atlanta. Tell me a little bit, first of all, the general manager there, Alex Anthopoulos, when Ronald Acuna went down, they kind of sized up what they needed to do, and they sort of remade the team, picking up Soler, Adam Duvall, and they picked up somebody else. There's a third guy they picked up.
Yeah.
I mean, they really improved their offense.
They got 5 guys hitting 20+ home runs. You got Freddie Freeman. I mean, he's an outstanding player, a team leader and stuff. So that makes a lot. And their pitching has been interesting too. They're I think where are they at in the pitching situation? I think they're 12th or something like that in all of baseball. But with Atlanta, one of the
They
things
just got back Max Fried, though.
right, exactly. You know, an interesting thing. You look at quality starts, which is really 6 innings, three runs or less. The Atlanta has 54 of them. That's 42%, which is crazy. The Giants, Oakland has 65 quality starts. That's over half, almost half their games.
Wow.
Their pitchers, starters are going 6 or more innings and 3 or less runs. So the Dodgers are second with that with 63. So that gives that's got to kind of lean on that a little bit, with the starters. That's very important. Again, I say that because over the last several years, the team with the best starters usually win the World Series.
All right. So if I'm deciphering from you, it sounds like you think we're almost certain to get a repeat of last year's World Series. Tampa and the Dodgers. You give the Giants a little bit of a chance out there.
I do. I mean, I lean obviously anything can happen. Yeah. I think the Dodgers are, the Giants, they have a tough schedule, I think, to end this month. So that's going to be interesting. But I don't know if they have the go power to get to the big party. I don't think so.
Let's spin over and have a quick conversation, or about a 10-minute conversation about the Orioles. Let me just run by you a theory that I have a little bit. Last year in 60 games, they're 25-35, which for them was a really good season.
Right.
Like, hey, we're not that far away.
Yeah.
They started this season 15-16 when John Means throws the no-hitter. At that time, that is 40-51. That's 400 plus baseball. They're now 40-90.
Right.
The Orioles, management and the players, and I'm not talking management Brandon Hyde. I'm talking about Mike Elias and his team, and then the players on the field think, hey, we're not that bad. We're not that far away. And just sort of let down a little bit, and then Means gets hurt, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah. No, you looked at last year. You got to understand the last part of the year, or of the short year, they were 5-20 or something like that, something crazy. But I mean, as the season progresses,
your warts become more apparent.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a long year, and you got to really play and as far as make adjustments, and you get wore down. It's just like Cisco. He is what he is. But as the game progressed during the game, the 9 innings, he got more flat-footed. He wasn't able to move. Some guys are like that. Some pitchers can't pitch more than 4 innings. Lopez, perfect example.
Yeah.
You just lose your concentration, and you get tired. You start trying to do some extra stuff. Catching, you get flat-footed. You don't move to block balls. You start boxing them and punching and doing stuff like that.
How much in a given game, Ross, because you pitched in the big leagues and you had some good catchers you threw to.
Oh, yeah.
Guy named Bench.
Oh, yeah.
Guy named Dempsey. And up in
Carter.
Who did you throw to up in Montreal?
Gary Carter, yeah.
Gary Carter. Okay.
Yes.
So that's 3 pretty good defensive catchers.
Right.
How frustrating is it for a John Means, Matt Harvey, when they throw what technically is a wild pitch, but the guy never tries to really keep it in front of him, and it's a wild pitch. They just give away base after base.
Yeah.
It drives me up a wall.
No,
and I think it's got to drive the pitchers.
It worries. I mean, you really start you get ahead in the count, you want to throw a ball in the dirt to get a guy to chase. Now you
Right.
go, if I throw it in the dirt, you're going to miss it. You can't really think of that because you got to do what you do. But, that's the way some guys are. They're just not able to do it, and they're trying, but the ability is just not there to do it. You can work on it till you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
But like I said, as the game progresses, for some reason, you can wear it down a little bit. You start doing different things. And that first thing, I mean, one of the things I always heard guys, a breaking ball anticipated in the dirt. So just think it's going to be in the dirt. You're going to have to block it. And I don't think a lot of guys do that.
Block. Yeah.
And then Bench made a great point. He said the pitchers don't know where it's going half the time now. Yeah. And unfortunately that's true because they're throwing everything as hard as they can. Yeah. And it's just not, you just don't see
you get the excuse. And I mean, he's not just saving his player, but Brandon Hyde, I asked him, he goes, well, Tanner Scott, he's got an explosive ball that's tough to catch, but I'm not talking about necessarily catching it. I'm just saying keep it in front of you so the guy doesn't walk 2 bases over.
I don't know anybody that throws too hard for the catcher to catch. That guy had
been.
He
didn't say
he
too hard. He says his
he hadn't been invented yet. I don't think.
His ball has a lot of movement.
Oh,
a lot of movement. I'm not trying to make fun of Brandon.
No. I
let's talk about this pitching staff because you and I are on the same page, page 1.
Yeah.
This rebuild can't move ahead until the pitching on the mound starts to be more accomplished. Absolutely. Is John Means part of your future if you're the Orioles?
What is he, 28, 29 years old?
Yep.
According to the way they do things, no, he isn't. But I mean, I don't
think they can do this year. They can't pull we'll trade Bundy and they snuck in the trade of Gosman before it became so apparent because that was Dan trying to keep his job by unloading $15 million in that contract.
Yeah.
In that deal, he got rid of O'Day's contract,
right,
which had another $8 million left on it.
Yeah,
and he got rid of Gosman, 3.5 left in that season, plus not going to arbitration with him because they knew they weren't going to pay him next year.
Yeah, and now look where you're at.
But they can't give up a Means. I'm saying, do you trust Means as a guy who can be your number one, or is he more like undependable and he's more like a 3 for you?
Well, he's a 1 here with the Orioles. Yeah. Now with the Dodgers, he might be a 3 or 4.
Right.
Maybe a 4,
Right.
But that's the whole deal here. You don't know what everybody's on.
What scares me about him isn't that he's not a masterful pitcher. He seems to now, this is 3 years he's pitched for this administration. He's been on the DL, I think, twice in 19, twice last year, and twice this year. And, and then when he comes back, he's got the built-in excuse for 3 or 4 games that, I'm just getting back to,
Well, that's the way guys are now. Your pitchers go down. I mean, you better have a ton of pitchers ready to come up. I mean, ready to come to the big leagues, not necessarily ready to pitch in the big leagues, in which they're just bringing guys up with arms that can throw hard and we'll take it whatever happens. But Means is a guy I think would he really do well in a bigger park, San Francisco, St. Louis?
Yeah, he'd be great.
He would be great. Again, I really don't think the pitching is going to be as successful in this park if it continues to stay. It has to. I just don't see it.
I don't know, when Mussina, Erickson, and Key were your top 3, the Orioles won the American League East, even when the Yankees were still damn good. To me, it's who the pitchers are, not what the ballpark is.
But I mean,
let me move ahead.
How many people Fergie Jenkins won a lot of games in Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field, right?
There ain't a lot of Fergie Jenkins out
I
there,
understand
if any. And
All right.
that's what they got to get back is to pitching and not just throwing.
So getting
Because-
back to pitching, are you intrigued enough with the relationship between Matt Harvey and Chris Holt to say, you know what, we can't do a whole heck of a lot better than this, and it's been interesting how he's progressed?
It depends on what your timetable is, I believe, for in the rebuild. I mean, people are talking 23, they're going to be competitive. I don't. These other teams, Yankees, Tampa Bay, Toronto, they're all getting better. I mean, they're over 500 teams. The Orioles are a long way from being 500 or being a competitive team in the American League East.
So let me pose you a question. He made $1 million this year. Would you offer Matt Harvey a 2-year contract for $6 or $7 million?
No.
Okay. Do you think on the free market, does he get a $6 million 1-year contract from somebody that needs pitching?
$6 million?
$5 million?
I don't think so. Okay. I wouldn't think so.
$4 million.
I mean,
going
now,
once. Going
now we're
twice.
picking at millions, ain't we? No, I don't see it. I don't see. I know he's had some good games in a small park.
I see a guy. I thought that game he pitched, and I don't know how much you're seeing of the team right now down there in Sarasota.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
You're not seeing as much. I thought he pitched the best game of his season against Tampa the other night. 3 runs in 6 innings. I thought he was very, very good.
That's he's got a six earned run what has he got? Yeah, he's got a 618 earned run average, 119 innings, 145 hits, 93 strikeouts, 35 walks.
But if you break
down, don't walk people,
if you break down what he's done at his good moments, I see enough of the good moments to think that he could be a guy that could get you back. I mean, again, he's never going to be a 240 inning guy.
Right.
And he's not next year. He won't be a 190 inning guy, but he might be a 145, 150 inning guy. Remember, last year, he's pitching at this point in the season on fumes a little bit because he pitched, I think, 11 innings last year.
Yeah. Well,
so I project him being
it depends,
healthy.
Stan. I think it depends on is he going to get in the way of anybody else?
He's not getting in the way.
Is anybody else going to?
That's why I suggest that the Orioles preemptively throw him more than just token money. I mean, $6 million for 2 years he's not getting a lot of chances to get that. And what he buys on the backside of that deal, he buys working with a pitching coach who's helping him learn the art of pitching, which I think that's what Matt Harvey is.
I don't know if they want to spend that kind of money. The way they are,
but
I don't know if
they've got to spend some money on pitching next year.
Eventually they will.
I think next year they have to do it. They cannot bring the product that they gave the fans this year, which is Jorge Lopez, Keegan Aiken, Dean Raymer, a lot of hope,
Well, that's the first line of people, the prospect group coming up, and really wasn't, out of 10 prospects, you better hope maybe one of them pan out.
Yeah, because you're going to have 2 or 3 flop.
Yeah,
you're going to have 2 or 3 get hurt.
Oh yeah,
you got to hope 2 or 3 make it out of 10.
Yeah, well,
all right,
really.
Ross. I don't know that we need to go past the pitching with the Orioles because that's where it begins and ends.
Right.
If the season starts on time next year, do you expect that Adley Rutschman is either catching opening day or as soon as they are able to buy that next year out?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to the strike thing, and that's really. But I mean, if you're going to bring them up, bring them up. But that's the beginning of supposedly the start of the team being, really being competitive. He's one guy. So now, I mean, you're going to start bringing guys up. I mean, they don't even have a third baseman yet. Who's the third baseman of the future? No one knows. Who's the catcher? But you got some guys in place here, and I think
You got
again,
Mullins and Mountcastle.
exactly. You hope Hayes can stay healthy. He's a pretty good
He's had a
player.
better year than I thought he
Yeah,
would, you know.
yeah. I mean, but you know, you just can't tell. But I
Let
mean,
me close with one other and
right.
sort of puzzling performance. At July, when we rolled into July, Trey Mancini had 15 home runs and 53 RBIs. We've now gone through July, through August, and he's now at 20 home runs and 64 RBIs. That means in 2 months, Trey Mancini has batted around 250, but he's hit 5 home runs and driven in 11 runs over 2 months. What
Right.
happened to him? Is it just fatigue from what he's been through?
Well, Stan, I would have to think so. I mean, what he went through was really something else. So
It's
I mean,
remarkable.
to get, I think to get the year that he's had so far, and it's been, you know, the weather has been really a
Impressive.
beater
Yep.
too, and it's really took its toll on a lot of people. And what he went through, he had cancer and all the stuff that I'm sure that a lot of people don't even know about. To have him do what he did, that's amazing. But I think we'll see next year possibly a different guy. Hopefully, you know, he's
I got
able
one more to ask you about. I left him out.
Yeah.
I forgot about him because he had such a forgettable season until about 10 days ago. Is Anthony Sandair. He's a guy that they got to tender a contract to, and he's probably going to be in the 3.5 million dollar range next year. You know what they've done to the Hanser Albertos and the Jose Iglesias when they start to. Do you see him being a worthwhile piece of the future?
You know, when he swings a bat, he swings it hard every pitch. Every pitch he's swinging for the fences. You know, if these guys, they start understanding that, you know, with 2 strikes, let's put the ball in play, let's square it up. You know, you're going to get some different players, I really think. And a lot of players are starting to do this. He's not one of those guys for whatever reason. But
well, he's got the injury. He's got the injury problems every year.
He's got that too. I mean, how many guys have that on this team? That's another issue. That's in baseball too. That's another issue no one talks about very much. There's a definite problem with injuries, and there's got to be a reason behind it.
Well, I think this year there's been, especially on the pitching side of things, that the industry as a whole has suffered from what happened last year, the pandemic, and the fact that you're ramping up. You needed, how many more innings did you need this year? You needed 100 games more times 9 innings. So you needed 900 innings.
Oh yeah,
more than you pitched last year.
You had a lot of guys.
Clearly the Orioles didn't have the talent to go through.
Oh no, and that's and it was last year. You had a lot of guys in the big leagues that normally wouldn't have been there, and this year you're getting the same thing, getting guys that would probably never have an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues. But that's the way this thing's going now.
All right, Orioles are on deck. We did almost like a pregame show for the Orioles. They're on one of the 2 Masson channels tonight. They'll face one of the best in the business, Robbie Ray. He is on my fantasy team.
All right.
So is Trey Mancini. So watch Mancini come out of his slump with 2 home runs tonight against Robbie Ray.
That'll help you.
All right. Hey, Ross, it's great seeing you. Again, we remind folks that we are brought to you each and every week by C3 American Exteriors. If you own a home, fixing or replacing your roof is going to be one of the most expensive things that you'll have to deal with. You got 3 things. You need to like the people, you need to feel secure with them, and trust the people. And with C3 American Exteriors, if you're in the market for a roof fix or replacement, I strongly suggest them. I know the people that run the company. All right, Ross, we'll see you next Monday night. We'll compare notes on what we're doing. Give my love to Bird. All right.
I will.
All right.
Take care.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.